What's up, Wargamers? We're back, and we've got another episode of Budget Wargamer, and it has been a while. What's it been, about a week? So I've been on the road here, took a trip over to California, and went over to see King Tut's Treasures at the California Science Center. Been working on some other videos and things like that related to my day job, so it's just been a little bit busy. Plus, we're still imminently waiting this eventual release of Age of Sigmar 2.0, aka Soul Wars, that's coming out this coming Saturday. So along with the release, there's massive amounts of stuff you could buy. I think I added up about $412.50 if you were to purchase absolutely everything that Games Workshop is doing on the release weekend. But not only that, they have the audacity, and you knew it was coming, to put in more pre-orders for the following week. So already, we'll take a look at those. But they've got the Battletomes for the Stormcast Eternals and the Nighthaunts, including deluxe editions, more endless spells. So yes, on top of the $75 Malign Sorcery box, depending on your faction, you may need to pick up faction-specific spells that are not included in there. So that's a new one that I wasn't expecting. And then there's more characters coming out that make these Nighthaunts look like an even better army to get involved with. So let's go ahead and dive in, and let's take a look at what we've got here on the Warhammer community website, which is obviously a place we get a lot of our news from related to Games Workshop and the hobby of Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000. So here are the Stormcast Eternals and Nighthaunt Battletomes. These are the regular editions that are going to be coming out. So these will be available for pre-order on Saturday, and then you'll finally be able to pick these up and have the rules and the official breakdown of everything, every unit, every character you'll need to know. Although I did hear that one of the characters that's being pre-ordered next week may not even be in the Battletome to begin with, so that'll be interesting. And also it carries on the interesting Shadespire style bases, which I'm really starting to take a liking to. So here we go. We've got the deluxe edition also coming out of the Battletomes. These are the full art cover, and I don't know how many more pages they're going to get into them, or whether they're just a gold leafed or gold embossed version with full cover art. But these certainly look like awesome books, and it's just a different deviation from the cover art on the standard version of them, with a little bit less gloss, it appears. So it's pretty typical for Games Workshop to come out with that limited release Battletome or Codex for an army anytime it comes out for the very first time. So let's take a look here, and we'll dive in a little bit closer. These are the faction-specific spell boxes that you'll have to pick up if you want to be able to cast these 3 spells per faction. And so far, we're just seeing the one for the Stormcast Eternals and the Nighthaunt that are in full support of the starter box. So those people diving into Age of Sigmar for the first time really are going to have a lot of stuff that they're going to have to purchase, which I think makes it a very heavyweight game. And I'd like to see in your comments below whether you think Games Workshop's going a little bit overboard with the new releases, or whether this is actually a good thing for Age of Sigmar if support from Games Workshop ends up increasing support for people playing the game. So to be determined, of course, but we'll have to take a look. I definitely think that financially there's a lot to get involved with, looking at spending about $250 per faction to dive right in, maybe $300 actually, unless you're splitting that starter box with somebody else. So here's the Stormcast Eternals 3 spells. This one here with the little wheel on it apparently allows your wizard or your mage to get up on it and unbind magic spells a lot more easily. The other 2 appear to be more like a offensive type of spell. One's like the Wind of Hammers or Tornado of Hammers. The other one looks like a Sigmar's Comet of some sort. So those are those spells for the Stormcast Eternals. Here's the Nighthaunt specific spells. We've got 3 of them here. One of them is a large scythe. The other one is some type of treasure chest with skulls coming out of it. And the other one is a hourglass with some type of spirits carrying it along. So more likely that all 3 of these are probably some sort of offensive spell, knowing the Nighthaunts, but we'll have to take a look and find out. So they have Shyish Reaper. Let's dive into that and see what this spell is all about. Shyish Reaper is a single model, so this is only Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Undead, and Nighthaunt wizards can attempt to cast Summon Shyish Reaper. It has a casting value of 7, successfully cast, set up a Shyish Reaper model wholly within 6 inches of the caster. And I'm thinking that this must be the Scythe, since it has something to do with the Reaper. Predatory. Shyish Reaper is a predatory endless spell. It can move up to 8 inches and can fly, so that's important. Sweeping Death says when this model is set up, the player who set it up can immediately make a move with it. Before moving a Shyish Reaper, pivot the model on the center of its base so that it points lengthways in the direction, yes. So this is definitely going to be the one on the oval base, which is the scythe. So it points in the direction you want it to move. Then move it in a straight line in that direction. The initial pivot is free and does not count towards the distance the model moves. After this model has moved, roll a dice for each model that it moved over, including models it moved over when it pivoted. Ooh, nasty. So you could actually turn it and do a sweep and then move. If the roll is equal to or greater than the model's save characteristic, then the model unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If your battle is being fought in the realm of Shyish, so this is one of the new realms of battle that has special rules on the battlefield, it says that it can move 12 inches instead of 8 inches, so that's an advantage there to the Nighthaunts. And it definitely seemed like in the new rules, wow, that scrolled out of nowhere. Definitely seems like in the new Age of Sigmar rules, there's a lot of rules in there, making it almost on par with the weight and complexity of 8th edition Warhammer 40,000, although 8th edition, in my opinion, brought down the complexity of Warhammer 40k. Age of Sigmar was just so vanilla, so watered down that it really didn't have any complexity, and now I feel like it's stepping up quite a bit, so it seems to be geared more towards that older age demographic, and it'd be hard to say whether 12-year-olds would be able to easily learn the game without getting quite a bit of demos. And that could also be why they used Rebecca Scott to be able to do the demo games online, since a lot of people are watching tutorials for things like that on YouTube and elsewhere. So this is the Mortarch of Grief we've been seeing for a couple weeks. She's got the name Lady Olynder, and she's going to be one of the many mages of the Nighthaunt army, of which can cast the 3 spells we've seen above, potentially, and some of the regular spells that you'll see in the Malign Sorcery box. So that's the model for her. She's got the Hourglass. She's got the chest, just like in those 2 spells. Don't see the scythe, but I'm sure she could cast that. So here's another interesting character, and this is the one that I've heard doesn't have rules in the Battletome, but it can be used as any particular Spirit Torment character, so it's really just another model. And it appears in this model set, just like the other $15 starter sets, or expansion sets. This one may or may not be $15, but in this one it looks like the terrain on the base is probably either part of the base or something added on when the model gets added. So that makes it different than the starter box models, but it makes it like Shadespire, and I happen to like that. So let me know if you guys like that in the comments below, and we'll keep moving on. So these are also going to be awesome models, because take a look at this. So it says, while this unit is wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Spirit Torment, which is going to be one of these guys right here, this character, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly Nighthaunt units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. So that's going to be fantastic and allow a lot more damage and hits to be put out by a Nighthaunt army, including these Spirit Torment models. So it makes them a highly desirable unit. And then here's a box of 10 plastic Grimghast Reapers that's coming out on its own to allow you to not only have multiple poses, and it looks like there's going to be a musician type model in there with some sort of bell as a weapon, but this is going to allow you to expand upon that starter set of Soul Wars, and it looks like there's probably 5 of each of the poses, although it is somewhat hard to tell, but it looks like I'm seeing duplicates, and then in one case the bell may be being swapped for one of the other weapons as an alternate. So that's going to be an addition there to the Nighthaunt force, and not to be left without, here's an addition already to the Stormcast Eternals that'll probably be coming out the week after the initial box. So this is a Stormcast Eternal hero, and he's going to be a Lord Exorcist. So he's a little bit different looking than the other ones that we may have seen, and kind of digging this dude. He's got a papal type of crown on his helmet, or that type of shape at least. He's got his book, and he's bringing spells or souls into his trap, which is kind of interesting. So here's a little bit of a tease. It looks like this is going to be one of his special abilities. It says Purifying Blast has a casting value of 5. If successfully cast, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 6 inches of the caster, so he's got to get right into the thick of the melee. Add the unit's bravery characteristic to the roll. If the result is less than 10, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Have the bravery characteristics, rounding down, of death and demon units for this spell. So that is nasty if you're playing straight out of the starter box and your friend's playing as the Nighthaunts, although I'd personally play as Nighthaunts if it were up to me. I'd be watching out for this guy because he's going to be putting some damage and mortal wounds onto those people. Here's also, if you want to pick up some of the battle cards to help you more easily play the game, Here's the Stormcast Eternals version, and it looks like it does go back potentially and cover all of the pre-existing Stormcast Eternal units, so that is nice and handy. Here's some dice as well, and that's a lot of pre-releases, or pre-orders coming out this coming Saturday, which is the date that the actual Soul Wars starter box becomes available. So good to get back on the hobby horse, make some videos for you guys, and stay tuned to Budget Wargamer for some more hobby greatness.